Olá a todos os seguidores do 00. Para hoje temos algo um pouco diferente. Vamos olhar para a situação atual do Manchester United, não só em termos de resultados, mas também em termos exibicionais. E para isso temos connosco dois comentadores muito especiais. O Igor Gonçalves, jornalista do 00.pt, e também o Stephen Gillett, que é jornalista do domínio inglês do 00, playmakerstats.com. Vamos começar esta conversa, se calhar em português, mas com alguma naturalidade vamos ter que passar para inglês, porque é a língua comum, digamos assim. Igor, começando por ti, e para dar um bocadinho de tempo de antena à língua portuguesa, para começar. Eu sei que tu és um seguidor do United. Porquê e como é que surgiu essa ligação?
Começou no final dos anos 90, portanto, quando eu comecei a entrar dentro do que era o futebol. O Man United tinha aquela equipa que toda a gente se lembra, tinha acabado de ganhar a Champions, tinha o Peter Schmeichel, que depois veio para o Sporting, e portanto havia ali uma ligação entre os dois clubes, e tinha também o Beckham, o Giggs, o Paul Scholes, e eram jogadores que eu fui crescendo e depois fui me apaixonando pela Premier League, que é de longe a minha competição favorita no futebol, e portanto fui ganhando ali algum afecto por aquela equipa do Man United, com o Sir Alex Ferguson, que é uma pessoa quem eu tenho um gosto particular pela forma como ele orientava e geria a equipa, e portanto, e depois claro com o Cristiano Ronaldo e com o Nani e com o Anderson, também jogou no Futebol Clube do Porto, ganhei também um bocadinho ainda mais gosto, e nos últimos, sei lá, 10, 15 anos tornei-me realmente adepto do Man United, e é o clube que se calhar que eu mais vejo com regularidade ao fim de semana. Sim. E à semana.
Passando para ti, Steve, we're going to switch over to the Queen's English, if that's all right.
Yeah.
It's probably better. How much do you follow United on a day-to-day basis, both professionally and personally?
Yeah, so personally, a lot, because I'm a fan. I've been a fan since I was 5 or 6. So personally, I follow them all the time. Professionally, our work obviously covers English football, but we cover all 4 divisions, and a lot of our focus is on kind of Championship, League 1, League 2. So I've always got an eye on what United are doing. And sometimes we cover it at work, but it's not really the focus at work. But yeah, I've got a big focus, and obviously Igor is on my case regularly, particularly on this subject that we're about to discuss.
Yeah. We'll get to all it, but let's start with the result itself, with this last result itself. United 0, Liverpool 5. How do you explain a result like that?
Well, I mean, I read a couple of notes you made before we came in here, and you mentioned that Luke Shaw, said that he'd seen the result coming, and I don't think he was the only one, to be honest. I've been hoping, because in big games in the past, we've actually kind of stood up and, played well. So I was actually quite confident, and I was looking forward to that game in November, because I thought, okay, we've not played anyone good, our performances have been not the best, but I think that this squad of players and the manager hopefully will step it up, and that will start against Liverpool, even though the performances suggested that we weren't in a good place. Unfortunately, the evidence on the back of the game is that we're definitely not in a good place, and I think, the performances, going back to your question, they were there, weren't they? We weren't playing very well, and you always had that little feeling that a very good team, that Liverpool are, could take us apart. And that's what happened.
Yeah, we are. I think we are in agreement in that we saw the Atlanta game, and even the game before, and the Atlanta game, that we won 3-2, but we end up the match and we look at each other and we're like, that's not okay. It's a good win. We are top of the group in the Champions League, but that's not a good performance.
And that followed Villarreal.
Yeah,
in the Champions League.
So, and we conceded a lot of chances, even when we were attacking and looking for the 3-2 and the 2-1. So I was worried, and I think I was right to be worried, because against a team that doesn't miss goals and create a lot of chances, our midfield and our defense were not glued together. So it was.
I think as well, the Liverpool result followed on the 4-2 Leicester game.
Yeah.
And that was a shocker. That was properly bad. And it actually looked a little bit like players and management didn't quite know what they were doing. I think we sort of changed the way we were playing against Leicester. And we kind of went from kind of a more kind of counter-attacking style to trying to go on the front foot and press.
And that
it was just a mess.
And that is a problem that we have, because you mentioned that we against top clubs we usually in the last seasons with Ole Gunnar, we weren't that bad. We got some good results because we play in counter-attack. Now with Ronaldo, with Pogba, with Bruno, with Sancho, we have to assume the game. We have to, and we can't do that. now we can't do that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that in the future those pieces can work together and maybe we can start doing that, but now we can't do that.
Yeah.
So,
do you think it's a matter of tactics? Is it more a matter of the spirits in the dressing room? I mean, going back to what Luke Shaw said, that the result was coming. A result like this one was coming. What does that say about the spirits in the dressing room?
Well, that's the one thing. So I would say, like, tactically, I think you can have doubts. Personnel-wise, recruitment, I think it's been quite good, but you can still have your doubts, maybe Ronaldo. But in terms of spirit, I mean, we have had more comeback wins over the past kind of season and a half, 2 seasons, than any team in the Premier League. I mean, you talk about Villarreal, you talk about Atlanta, like, you're not coming back in those games unless there's a spirit.
yeah.
And I think a lot of people were saying after that, the Atalanta game, that at least Solskjaer had the players. And I think he did.
Okay.
And I think the spirit is one thing that's been a real positive under him. He's got that link to the club, he's got that link to the fans. So I think the spirit's there. Obviously, the problem will be is if performances and results mean that spirit's not enough. And
Yeah, I don't think that. I don't think that there is one singular problem. Like, we can question if playing 4-2-3-1 is better than playing 4-4-2, whatever. I don't think that is the main problem. I think the main problem is he has no capacity to adapt to the situations. Our game plan is always pretty much the same, always going fast in the wings, cross, Bruno doing something. We don't have like a 3-player triangle that can take apart for defense. So it's hard to defend him, because it's hard to defend him and it's hard to attack him, like literally, because the players are with him. We can see that. Okay, there's always been problems, and that's normal. Pogba is a problem. De Gea was a problem.
But even that, he's handled that with a happy Pogba.
Is exactly. But the problem is his inability to adapt to the game circumstances. And that is one of the most important things when you are a manager of a top club.
I mean, I would say, because I've been more on Solskjaer's side, that I would now say the reason I'm having doubts is whether I'm doubting if we can evolve. Because I think, like you were saying,
We're stagnated.
we were exactly before we had to play McTominay and Fred because that's all we had. And I think we did that well, and he had a certain type of football that against the big teams it seemed to work. Against the lower teams, sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. But if you look at our points record in terms of points won under Solskjaer, we were second. Well, obviously we were second in the league. Let's look at that as well.
Yeah.
I mean, let's look at the gradual improvement in results.
Yeah.
That speaks for itself. Like, we were slowly improving. We just weren't back at Ferguson levels, which is what everyone wants. Everyone compares Solskjaer with Ferguson, which is very difficult.
And another problem is with Ronaldo, with the investment, we have another more expectation. So last year we were second, and we look at each other and we're like, okay, we are second. That's good enough because City is on another level. But now I'm not saying that we have to be in that level, but the expectations are that we are in that level, because we have Varane, one of the top defenders in the world. We have Ronaldo, that is Ronaldo. We have Sancho, one of the top prospects in the world. Yeah. We have Pogba. We have all of these players. So the expectations is more, and now his work is being more scrutinized. So,
well, he has to improve. I think that's the thing. The bottom line is he has to improve. He's been improving. And I was with him thinking, well, okay, I can see a gradual improvement. It's not all up like this. There are ups and downs, but there's general improvement. Obviously, losing 5-0 at home to Liverpool is a massive problem. And it suggests we can't improve on second in the league, because Liverpool are fighting it out, obviously, with City and we've got a strong Chelsea team. So it's not looking good, is it?
Yeah, so let's get to the $1 million question, or the £1 million question. Yeah. Should Ole be sacked right now?
I'm going to let him. Now, maybe I can go first.
Should have been sacked. I will say no to this point. And I've defended him, as Igor knows, regularly. I think this result changes quite a bit. I think the pressure on him grows. I would still say that, and I think United as a club, like, we've been through Mourinho, we've been through Van Gaal, we've been through Moyes. It wasn't an enjoyable period as a United fan. We've, relatively speaking... Sorry? The Europa League with Mourinho, yeah. Okay, so he delivered some silverware for sure. But as a United fan, I didn't really connect with that team. I didn't connect with that style of football. Yeah. And I've connected more with this Solskjaer team than I did that Mourinho team. What was the question again?
If you should be sacked.
Huh?
If you sack them,
right now.
So I would say no, but I think with this hard November I mentioned, if 2 or 3 results go against us, I think it's probably game over.
So I think we lost an amazing opportunity last year to get Pochettino. I was on that side of the things. I think we, but Solskjaer, as we said, as the manager, as the fan support, as the club as a whole support. So he stayed on, and then with new expectations this season. And we are in like the 3rd month of the season. And we can see that we are not improving as we should. We are the same team that we were last year and 2 years ago, with better personnel and with Rashford and Greenwood that are better players. So I was on the case that we should
Rashford's
have
been
get.
injured, but
He just returned like 2 weeks ago. I was on the case that we should gotten Pochettino. We couldn't do that. Now he's in PSG. I read something that Antonio Conte doesn't want to come to Manchester United, so we didn't want him anyways. So I think that he should have been sacked a few months ago, like for the new season. Now that is on the new season. We lost 5-0 against Liverpool. We lost against Leicester. We had lackluster performances against Atlanta, against Villarreal. We are not on the League Cup anymore, in the Carling Cup. So I think that he should have been sacked. If he's not sacked this week, I think the Tottenham game is like the
You don't think he's
final
earned?
straw.
You don't
No.
think he's earned?
Yes, I think.
I think he's earned to this point.
to this point. Yeah.
I think he's earned maybe a couple more games.
Yeah, but in a couple
Yeah.
more games, we could be looking at the 4th place from 6
Going,
points
yeah.
back.
I would say 2 or 3 more. We've got City, haven't we? I think it's Spurs, Atalanta, City.
Nice. Nice.
I think
real
that's it.
nice.
I mean, we'll
Real
know.
nice.
We'll know after those 3.
Yeah,
games.
we'll know if the
Yeah,
season is
exactly.
over or not.
Yeah.
So I think your points of view are kind of getting closer to intersecting at this point.
For sure.
I mean, he has a big history in the club, obviously, as a player. He was a very relevant
Yeah, but
player.
so has Roy Keane. We are not going to get Roy Keane.
Yeah, right.
So that has no influence, you think, on...
I think
has
that,
to have no
I'll say,
influence.
in England, and Steve can talk a bit more about that, in England that has a lot of influence. So the history of a player in the club, of a manager in the club, has some importance in the patience that the fans especially have. For me, in Portugal... falando agora um bocadinho em português, para nós não interessa nada, não é? Se o treinador do Sporting fosse o Figo e ele perdesse 3 jogos, já toda a gente queria que o Figo saísse. Até jogou no Benfica. Portanto, isso para nós não interessa nada, e se ele estivesse em Portugal já tinha ido.
The thing is, just people have been saying that Solskjaer's going back to kind of the DNA of the club. Like, he's brought in the likes of Carrick, Darren Fletcher.
Carrick was already there. He was
Okay, he's already okay.
with
but
Mourinho.
Nicky Butt may have come
Yeah,
back. I think
yeah.
Darren Fletcher.
Phil Neville, I
So
think
he's
that's
tried.
something
Like that's something that maybe it won't work, but there's been a definite philosophy behind what he's doing.
Yeah.
And so to sack him means that you kind of give up on that project, and then let's say Conte comes in, he comes in with his own men,
his own
the
personnel.
whole backroom staff changes, and then there's a load of upheaval.
Yeah.
And I think United since Ferguson have not enjoyed obviously these periods of upheaval. Whether that means you stay with a manager who's not performing is another matter.
Yeah.
But on that, I think it was Jamie Carragher that just said that. I mean,
He's loving it, isn't he?
Yeah, he's loving it, obviously. But he has all these assistant managers that used to play for the team, but they're all quite young, and that he should have, a more experienced guy.
Yeah.
He even mentioned Carlos Queiroz.
Yeah.
So someone experienced, because Ollie himself
Yeah.
is not very experienced.
Exactly. And I think that's one of the points that's been made that I really agree with. This kind of learning on the job.
Yeah,
I think Solskjaer's done a lot right. But if you look at the CV before he came, it was like Mould and Cardiff.
Yeah.
Do you know? So he is actually, these ups and downs are
normal
periods
in
for
the
him.
coach. So,
But he's right under the spotlight. All Klopp and Guardiola in their backgrounds. I'm sure Klopp, for example, he was at Mainz, wasn't he?
yeah,
And then Dortmund. So like the guy learned his trade, kind of, and then got a huge job and went on to win the Champions League. Like Solskjaer's being asked to do it now. It's quite a difficult ask.
Yeah, I agree. I'm 100% in that point, because Solskjaer is not a bad coach and he's not have a bad learning curve, I think.
Yeah.
So but win in a club that Manchester United, and we have a season that we made a big leap in expectations. Because last year, if we end up in third or fourth, that's okay. Because City and Liverpool, Liverpool not so much because last season didn't go so well.
It was inaccurate, really, because Liverpool had all those injuries.
Yeah, exactly. So if we end up in third, we were like, okay, third. Next season, maybe we can do a little bit better. But now with the three big signings, and the growth of Greenwood, Rashford, the expectations are a lot harder for him to manage. So I think that is a big problem for him. In 5 years, for instance, if he got sacked tonight or tomorrow or after the Tottenham game, in 5 years, I think he would be ready to be the Manchester United coach.
Let's try to end the Ole subject on a little bit of a positive note. I mean, what positive things did he bring to United up until this point, focusing only on that?
So for me, that DNA part, this feeling of a connection with the fans and a connection to not, you've got the Glazers in the background, which is all money, and it's just felt like his focus is purely football. And even like Ferguson's in the stand puffing his cheeks out after the Liverpool loss. But you feel we've always had like Bobby Charlton walking around the ground. We've had Ferguson, and having Solskjaer at the ground, it just felt like that tradition at United was continuing. So it
just felt right. We look at the stands, and we feel a little nostalgia.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. And that's what I know that kind of the more cynical people say is that doesn't mean he should be Man United manager.
Yeah. So fans kind of hope that it works out.
Yeah, I think that's it. And I'm talking quite a bit from hope, and I still do hope, by the way.
I'm not that optimistic. So, but I get what he's saying, because with Moyes, it was a terrible period, and it was set up to be a terrible period because all the changes in the squad, and even the squad was not so good. We won the league last year of Ferguson, but the team was not that good. No. So we were set up for a failure with Moyes. Same thing as Van Gaal, because his manner of working and managing his clubs is not an English manager for sure. And then Mourinho, I was getting hamped up with Lukaku, with Pogba, so didn't go so well in the play the game. We got some silverware, as we said. But now with Solskjaer, I think one of the things that we have is that nostalgia, that
and maybe a sense of, us going back to the positives, a sense of like unity.
Yeah,
I feel like there's been unity.
And one thing more to Solskjaer, and I think is a continuity of that same project. The players that he brought up, like the Rashfords, it was not him, but he kind of.
But he's a young Manchester lad.
Yeah, and Greenwood and the guy from the left. No, Luke Shaw was already there. The
young one, Williams.
Brandon Williams.
Yeah.
So we got to see like a reiteration of the Ferguson boys. Yeah. So that is a positive point for him also.
And I think he also, if we look at Shaw's a massive success.
Yeah.
Like he's improved
Shaw was there,
Shaw a lot. I mean, he was being questioned by everybody, particularly under Mourinho. I mean, Mourinho was out every 2 weeks, pretty much slagging off Shaw. And Shaw's turned that round and obviously played really well, scored a goal in a Euro final. So, I think he's improved players and he's given them a platform, which is why I would probably end the debate on, okay, there's huge question marks over Solskjaer, but there've got to be some big question marks over some of the players as well. Because they've got to this point. We've added in with the Sanchos and Ronaldos, whatever. I mean, at the moment, it feels like Ronaldo's got a bit of a free pass. He's obviously been a legend for so long that anything that goes wrong now is Solskjaer's fault. But he is part of this issue part of the problem and this evolution problem we've got.
Yeah, but the problem with Ronaldo is that Ronaldo is not the same player that he was when he was in Manchester. He can't be utilized as a counter-attack player. He has to be a centre forward that players play to him. So playing with Greenwood, playing with Rashford and Ronaldo, you can't do that in the same way that we used to do.
I've got a question for you then. So do you think if we replace Solskjaer and bring in another manager who you think's a better manager, do you think we could be successful with Ronaldo up front?
Yes.
Okay. See, I have my doubts on that.
Even in the Portuguese national team, there's a bit of the debate.
Yeah,
like
but
that.
in the Portugal
that's been
national
going on
team,
for the last couple of
years.
years.
The Portugal national team, we have 60% of 70% of the games we have more possession of the ball than the opponent, and the opponent is weaker than us. In the Premier League, that's not the case.
Yeah, right.
So,
But do you think a manager could solve that problem?
Yes,
Okay.
we saw Ronaldo just won the Serie A twice.
But then they let him go after
Yeah, but
finishing,
then,
and
okay,
where
but-
Juventus are on a bit of a slide, aren't they?
I know that, but a player that scores one goal in every game or one goal in 2 games.
In his past career.
No, even now.
Yeah, okay.
He has scored.
Yeah.
He has scored.
Yeah, okay.
So
he still scores goals.
we have to play for Ronaldo. We can't play with Rashford and Ronaldo and Greenwood on counter-attack because Ronaldo can't do
How
that.
long can we do that? I mean, the guy is 36. That's going to be our plan. You get this 36-year-old guy who's like going to live forever.
Why not?
Just scoring tons of
Not
goals.
live
like,
forever, but in the last
you know?
in the last 2 seasons, he scored more than 30, 40 goals, something like
I
that.
actually didn't understand the move, to be honest, because I thought Cavani had done a good job
Yeah, but we
as
can't
that senior
start,
professional.
We can't do a
And
season
now we've
with
got-
Cavani. Only with Cavani as
Not with
our
Cavani,
number
but
9.
with Martial and Greenwood.
But that's more of the same. So
Rashford.
more counter-attack play, more Martial.
That's why,
Rashford.
for me, at this moment in time, I think Solskjaer and United seem a bit lost. Because for me, that kind of counter-attacking way seemed the way forward. And now we've obviously got
And Ronaldo can't
Ronaldo
play.
in there. And it's like, I feel like
and
we've sort of lost our identity.
the problem
identity
is that
he was trying to give us.
Ronaldo can't play as the only striker in the middle. He can't. He just can't.
So then we've got a problem with Ronaldo. He can't do this. And then we've got Pogba, who can't play,
Who can't play
as an 8.
As an 8. Not
You
even
know,
as
it's just
a
like,
6.
oh, well, we can't do that, and we can't do that. Oh, and we can't play Lindelof because he gets bullied. And we can't play Maguire without some kind of pace on it
Yeah.
with him. And so there are these issues, big issues.
But that is a manager's job.
Yeah.
So
And
There
now,
is-
but now all of these problems that have been underneath the surface slightly
Yeah,
are all bubbling up to
are-
the
yeah,
surface. And that 5-0 was just, it exploded.
So wait, sorry, going back, do you right now, looking at how it's been going up until this point, do you think United should not have signed Cristiano?
Personally, as a fan, I don't think we should. No. I think if we'd have managed to move Pogba on and bring in a really good dynamic midfielder where you're going to get an 8 out of 10 performance every week, then I would have brought in another midfielder along with Varane, along with Sancho, and I think we had enough up top, particularly with Greenwood getting more and more game time. Rashford was obviously injured, but now he's back. I mean, Solskjaer's got an issue of keeping everyone happy up front.
Yeah.
And sometimes you've seen it because we end up with a team where we've got kind of 5 attacking guys on the pitch, but there's no real structure to those 5
But that's a
attacking guys.
problem.
It's like, let them go. But that's like his personnel is dictating his tactics.
But that is a problem because when you have quality, you have to create a system that brings out the best in every player.
Yeah.
And I don't think this should be that hard to have a little bit of football, not just Greenwood and Rashford trying to get by an opponent in speed and then crossing to
Yeah.
Ronaldo. And we don't have that. We don't have like the little triangle to get a player free. We don't have a player coming from the back and slashing the defense in the movement court.
Yeah.
So I think that Solskjaer, his faults are being more magnified this season.
Or maybe his limitations.
And his
You know,
limitations.
as
yeah.
in the limitations, as in he's taken us so far,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
maybe one of these
So
other
the
managers.
Tottenham match is going to be crucial,
Yeah.
more even than the Champions League match because we are in top of the group and the group is not that hard, so we can manage that. And then Manchester City.
City's the one, isn't
Yeah.
it? For me,
Tottenham and
I
City.
think he'll be there at the City game.
I think so.
But,
I don't think that is right
if I
that,
was to-
that he be there, but it's going to be there.
If I was a betting man, if he loses the City game, that's where I can see him going.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, if he loses against Tottenham like 4-0,
Yeah, exactly.
5-0.
If it's embarrassing against Spurs and
it's
Atlanta,
gonna be
then
gone.
maybe. But I think if we pick up good results in the previous
the
2 games, I
City-
think if City outplay us in the way Liverpool did,
If we
then
get
I
if we
think that
get
could be the
trashed
end.
against City,
and it gives them a bit of time to maybe line up a manager too,
Yeah.
because they definitely don't want to make a mistake because we made them in the past.
Yeah. So at this exact moment, 2:57 on Tuesday, he is manager of Man United. He worked at Carrington today. But if he does leave, who do you think would be the best alternatives?
now, that's a good question.
And that's an amazing question. And this is part of the issue.
I
the
don't know.
reason why maybe he's still in the job.
I don't know.
I don't think Conte is a good fit.
I don't know if Conte is a good fit or not, but I think that he doesn't want to come. So okay.
He's obviously got experience in English football and has won the
Yeah,
Premier
he won
League,
the
so
Premier
that
League.
counts massively in his favour.
I would say I don't know what managers
Who
are
would
in
you
a
say?
ve-
Because
are
I have this
available.
chat, everybody goes, Solskjaer, he's not good enough, he's not good enough.
Who's there? Who's out
and it's
there?
like, who?
Who's
And
out
everyone,
there?
oh, well, I would have done Pochettino,
Yeah.
but maybe not now.
Not now.
Because a lot of people are like, oh, I'm not too sure about Pochettino.
Pochettino's coaching PSG.
Yeah, I know, but because I was chatting in the office today and people don't think he's doing a great job, considering the players at his disposal.
See, but it's France, so it's going to win
Yeah.
It's going to win in almost everything. So
Okay, but let's say, to be fair, Pochettino, when he was at Spurs getting into the Champions League final, I would say maybe his reputation was higher,
you think so?
but I don't know. In English football, I think it was, because obviously he lost his job at Spurs, and so he lost a lot of people thought, oh, maybe he's not as good as he was. So Pochettino,
It's really hard. It's really hard
Pochettino, I'm not
because
sure, but Nagelsmann, Bayern Munich,
that's-
he's not available. But
Yeah.
no, but that's what I'm saying. That's probably the one name that most people agree with and go, yeah, Bayern Munich's manager. Yeah, it's a bit late, exactly.
we can
I mean,
wait.
Guardiola.
We can wait a few weeks and hope that Ronald Koeman is sacked in Barcelona.
That would be amazing.
That would be really good.
Yeah,
We have really good experience with a Dutch coach.
Dutch coaches, yeah.
So Xavi
For me, like, I honestly don't want to think
and
about it
Paulo
too much.
Fonseca. Paulo Fonseca is coaching in any club? No.
No, he's being linked to Newcastle, wasn't he?
Jesus.
Yeah. Come on.
Ruben Amorim.
Well, that's the thing, because
No,
I
not
I think in a weird way, like we've chopped that one. Like once Solskjaer goes, that kind of employing former players,
no.
like Lampard at Chelsea and Solskjaer at United, I think you're not going to go down that route again.
No, and not with Roy Keane.
So it's difficult.
Ruben Amorim.
Yeah, you can tell he's a Sporting fan as well.
Just
No, I mean-
just won the championship.
Yeah, no, he looks a good coach.
He is a good coach.
He is a good coach.
Under him,
Although I haven't seen much of Sporting.
under him, Sporting has won the championship, the League Cup, and even in futsal, we won the Champions League.
Yeah, but going back, I remember when Amorim was appointed, actually. I remember when Amorim was appointed, and you were like, I'm not sure. That's it. It's so easy to say, isn't it?
It really is.
After the event, it's so easy to say.
I have one more question. It's just a curiosity of mine. What influence, if any, do you think Sir Alex still has at Man United in terms of like all these decisions?
No, I wouldn't imagine a huge amount.
I think I
think he might get called upon from time to time.
and his seal of approval is
Yeah.
big for the fans. Right. So if he was out there saying, "Okay, Solskjaer, maybe it's time for him to go," Solskjaer
that would be,
will be gone.
yeah,
would be gone.
I don't think he ever would do that.
Yeah.
But I mean, with Ronaldo, didn't he have some input?
Yeah,
in
I
that?
think
I
I read
think he had
something.
some input. I think he spoke with Ronaldo, so I think there's some influence there. But
I
no.
don't.
I
Not
think
in
it's a bit
the.
disrespectful to Solskjaer to think he's got kind of.
No,
he
not in
needs the likes
the-
of Ferguson to kind of give.
Not
him
in the
input.
managerial sense of
Yeah.
inputment, but his seal of approval is a big thing, especially for us supporters. So
Yeah.
if he was out there saying, "Give him time, give him one more year to Solskjaer," no one was. Okay,
And-
not no one, but few people would be asking for Solskjaer heads.
And he did actually. I think he undermined Solskjaer a little bit the other
Yeah.
week. I think he said that he was recorded in a conversation being overheard saying that someone was questioning Solskjaer's team selection, and he was like, "You've got to put your best players on the pitch." Kind of basically saying that Solskjaer hadn't named a good team.
No,
But he
that's-
didn't do that publicly.
Yeah,
he didn't
he
do that
didn't
publicly. He was
publicly,
picked up as a side comment. Yeah.
Very last question. What do you think United can still aim for in this season, realistically? I mean, what would make this a positive season?
November is huge. I mean, we're talking as if he's already walking, basically, aren't we? We're expecting him to go. I don't think everyone in the room expects him to go. I think if we manage to get through November with some good results against rivals, City, Spurs, Arsenal, Chelsea, we get through we top the Champions League group or keep ourselves at the top of that. You've got the FA Cup. And fill me in on the table, but we started that Liverpool game, I think, 4 points behind them. So if we'd have won, we would have been within one.
Yeah.
So,
But
it's within the realms of possibility that we pick up some good results against our rivals, and we are roughly, third in the table come Christmas. You never know. Football's a funny old game, and it's probably not going to happen. But, you know, you can't write off. A top 4 place is definitely still on the cards.
Yes, we have to end up.
Looking
in the
right
top
now,
4 place.
Liverpool and City look a million miles away
And
from
Chelsea.
us. And Chelsea, yeah. They look a million miles better than us. But with a few results against them, we could give ourselves a chance.
I think that if we were on the struggle, on the week-to-week battle for second, for even first, if they pick up some bad results, it would be good. But we have to end up in the top 4, and now it's becoming harder because Tottenham is a good team. Arsenal's not a good team, but they're improving a little bit, and we have other clubs, Leicester, right up there, and just got smashed by them. So we have to be in the top 4. And in the Champions League, if we're going to pass the group. I hope we're going to pass the group in first. So in the oitavos de final, it's not that it's going to be that hard of an opponent. So I think we can go like in the quarterfinal.
Yeah, Champions League's still on the table.
Yeah,
and then although it looks very difficult, I would say
it's one game in the FA Cup.
You know, a top 3 finish.
Yeah, I would be. I'm
not saying that's likely, but I'm saying that's probably what everyone would right now. Let's say we did a Chelsea. Chelsea were in. No one thought they were going to go and win the Champions League, did they?
Yeah.
If we managed to turn it round, it's not going to happen. But if we did win the Champions League, get a top 3 finish in the Premier League, be a massive success.
Yeah, but a massive success.
Yeah.
And
very unlikely.
And very unlikely.
Yeah.
All right, I think that's a good moment to wrap it up. It's going to be difficult enough to add subtitles to this whole conversation, so let's wrap it up.
Sorry about that.
Thank you so much for your time. Let's see how it goes with Man United. For now, Ollie's still at the wheel, so let's see if he does leave. Maybe we'll have talk again about the next manager. We'll see. If there is a next manager. Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks very much.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Cheers.